Hello and welcome to Laserfiche Web Client Training by Cities Digital. This video will introduce the basic concepts and features of the Laserfiche Web Client software. It provides a secure repository where users can store and find important business documents. The Laserfiche Web Client functions as a digital filing cabinet. You can browse the contents of the repository via a folder structure. You can utilize advanced search capabilities to easily and efficiently retrieve information, create new documents in the system by scanning paper-based documents or importing electronic files, print, email, and export out of the system in a secured manner, utilize a variety of annotation features, participate in business processes via workflow, and much more. Our agenda today will take a look at how we log into Laserfiche Web Client, log in, find and work with files therein, how to get files into the system, and how to get files out of the system. With that said, let's go ahead and get started. To launch the Laserfiche Web Client, simply type in the URL of the Laserfiche Web Access site in your browser of choice and click Enter. Here we have our login screen. We'll type in our username and password. If you have been set up with Windows authentication, you will be automatically logged in, and once we click Sign In with our traditional login, we'll be taken to the Laserfiche repository. Once you've logged into Laserfiche, you'll see the main display window shown here. The main display is really divided into 5 different sections, including the toolbar, the file folder tree, the quick access pane, the file display window, and the unified metadata window. At the very top of the browser, you'll see the search pane. You'll find that the quick search box is here. You can customize the options for the quick search to choose to search within a current folder or the entire repository. By default, the system will search for all document text and fields for the phrase you type in your quick search box. If you want to do an advanced search, click on the advanced search option, which will open up an advanced search window, and you can customize your advanced search. We'll go ahead and return to this in a moment. You can always hit reset if you want to add everything back in by default. Further down from the search bar is the location bar, which tells us which folder we're currently in. And on the far right, we can see some toolbar items, including the ability to refresh, create new folders, upload and download documents, initiate web scanning, and send a document via email. On the far left, we have the folder pane here. We will only see folders, and any folder that has subfolders can be expanded to see any subfolders below it. If you click on a folder, you'll see any documents listed in there in the contents pane right there in the middle. If a document has a template assigned to it, you'll see this little colored bar to the far left. To open a document, just click on the document name itself. To select a document without opening, click on the checkbox or in the row of that name, and the item will be displayed with additional information on the metadata pane on the far right. In this case, we can see that this document has some fields with a template assigned. We can also mark this document with a star. It's a new feature, and that way it shows up in your list of starred entries in your quick access pane down below in the bottom left. I'll go ahead and mark this untitled document with a star. Should go gold, and then should be available in our starred entry list. There we go. We have a starred folder and a starred entry. I'll click back on my folder, and I can now view the documents that are in that folder. Selecting that document again shows me the entry. If you click the star, you can remove that again. You can change your information on the metadata, view additional document information as far as tags go, links, versions, if the document had any versions, who created the document and when, and who modified it and when, plus additional options regarding security. The preview window will allow you to view the document in advance without having to open it up. You do get a thumbnail view, and you can scroll through the thumbnails of that document, zooming in and out. You can even search for words within that document. The More button allows us to run additional tasks on a document, including business processes, discussions, and if a records manager, we can take records management actions. Down in the quick access pane on the left-hand side, we have documents in use, starred entries, recently opened documents, records management, and the recycle bin. Each user has their own recycle bin. If they have deleted documents, they'll be visible there. If you happen to be a records manager, you'll have records management tasks that you can take within this option. Recently opened documents will be listed, starred items will be listed, and if you have a document in use, maybe you've checked a document out, that'll be visible as well. For those that want to further customize their experience within the web client, the web client can be customized to show different columns in the contents pane. The way in which you interact and view information in the web client is largely customizable to your preferences. The following represents some customizations you may be interested in. Go to the Display Options choice at the very top, and you can add the sortable columns, filter columns, and folder pane view. You can even save columns as you customize them. Column Picker allows you to add or remove custom columns to your contents display window. We can add creation date, move it around, reorder them, remove certain columns. Maybe we want to see additional information about the entries. Add those items, reorder them, and then hit apply. Those columns will then be modified and available in your contents pane. You can click and drag to resize the column width. You can even click and drag to reorder those columns. Clicking on the columns themselves will allow you to sort by that column information. If we click on the name, as we can see, we can resort alphabetically, ascending or descending. Filtering columns is a new feature in 10.3. Add the filter columns, and you can choose to filter by a particular name. In that case, if we choose to filter on dates, we can choose to filter by a certain date from or to. Very handy and very powerful. In addition, we can set up saved columns. If you right-click on your columns, go to Saved Columns and manage the saved columns. This will show you any columns that you've already saved. You can rename them or delete them. If you're in the column picker, you can save that set of columns from the bottom left corner with your configured column displays already set. When you hit save, it'll ask you to save the name. And in so doing, once you've saved the column profile name, you can give it to yourself or to a Laserfiche group. We'll go ahead and cancel out of here. Some basic Laserfiche actions include the ability to right-click in the contents pane and create new folders, import documents, send a document as an email. If we were to actually highlight a document at this point, choose email. If you want to create a new folder, just click on New Folder. Add your new folder, click OK. You can rename your documents, and from here you can even launch the scan module to scan documents in to this folder. Users with the correct permissions can delete folders and or documents. If you choose to open a document, click on the document name. The document viewer will launch in another tab. We can see up here at the top we have a second tab open in this browser, and the contents of that document will be visible. We'll have a set of thumbnails along the left-hand side, the image for each selected thumbnail in the middle, text is visible, and metadata as well. We can turn off the viewing of text in our display options. Turn off text, that'll hide that pane. For the document itself, there are annotation tools. We can rotate the document and take other annotation actions from the toolbar. This toolbar is a little bit different than the main toolbar. This toolbar is for editing documents. You can email the document while viewing it, download it, scan more pages into the document, add highlights or redactions, sticky notes, and stamps to the image pages. Zoom controls are available at the top of the image pane. Page navigation is available as well. If any changes are made to the document, you might need to hit the Save button. If you want to send this document as an email, click the email icon, choose the number of pages, select your file type, use your email client, and click Send. As you can see, the second tab had opened, but we returned back to the folder view, which is also duplicated in the original tab here as well. you can choose to close the original tab, and you're back to where you were. Laserfiche provides several methods to import documents into the repository. Before we do that, let's go ahead and clear out some of these documents. If you want to select all the documents, you can select the checkbox at the very top and then press delete on your keyboard. There are a variety of ways in which you can import and create documents within your Laserfiche repository. You can do file import, drag and drop, Microsoft add-in if you have Office products, and Laserfiche scanning. First example is to do a drag and drop import. We can go ahead and drag a document off of our desktop, drag it to the contents pane of the folder that you're currently highlighting. You can drag it to any folder in the folder pane as well, and a copy will be made of that document. When you release, a dialog box should occur, and that will ask you for the document name. Rename it if you want. Make sure that the folder is the correct folder that you intended to import the document into. If not, hit the Browse button. If you want to assign a template, choose from the list of available templates. If you want to assign template and field information, go ahead and click on the Fields tab at the top. Choose your template, and then insert the values in the fields as appropriate, and then click Import. When you do so, the entry will be imported and then available in the repository for everyone to see. For those that want to scan documents into the repository, go ahead and highlight the folder in which you want to scan the documents into, click the Scan button in the toolbar, and Laserfiche will ask you if you want to scan in Basic or Standard mode. We'll go ahead and choose Basic initially here. That way we can show you the easy way to scan. Then we'll show you how you can be more customized with the Standard mode scanning. The Laserfiche scanning module has launched. At this point, you're ready to hit the Scan button to start scanning, but before you do that, you might want to check your OCR settings. Make sure that if you are scanning documents, you can make them text searchable. Make sure that the checkbox for Perform OCR is available and set. You can also set your engine optimization for speed, standard, or accuracy. Accuracy is slower, but gets more of the words. Speed will be faster, especially if you have high-quality images, and standard is a mix, and usually the best option. You can also add enhancements. You can tell the system to automatically deskew images if they come in a slightly offset manner, despeckle any noise, rotate the image automatically if it is upside down. You can even add blank page removal if you're scanning both sides of the documents. Go ahead and set those settings, click OK, and you're ready to then hit the Start Scanning button, and that document will then be scanned in from the scanner. We can see we have a few pages here. We can look at those pages, zoom in, zoom out, whatever we need to do. If that all looks good, you can go ahead and hit Done, which will then send the document into Laserfiche and close this window. You do have a rescan button up at the top. This allows us to rescan a single page. If we decide that page 3 is not properly scanned, we can put that paper into the scanner and rescan that page again. If you want to send the document in and not close the application, you can click the New Document button. This will send this document into the repository and be ready for another document scan. If we like what we see, and we have titled it appropriately in the name field, give it a name here, and we'll click Done. That should store the document in the appropriate area. Over on the right side, we can take a look at the field values. Maybe we've got a default template assigned and some field information. If you want to assign tags, check those tags. Go ahead and hit Done. It stores the document in the repository and closes the application. And there's our document. Let's go ahead and scan another document. This time we'll choose Standard Scanning mode, and we'll see the differences between Standard and Basic. Standard Scanning has just launched, and now we see that it's a very different configuration screen. We have a configuration module on the left-hand side, default properties that can be assigned on the right-hand side. Image processing is available, but in a very different way than basic scanning. We have the ability to change the document default name, set our template, tags, and settings, including the folder path. A little bit different than basic mode. We can configure the folder path and the default volume. Some basic properties. For image processing, Laserfiche scanning gives us the ability to add additional scanning properties that we saw in the basic mode, but they're all listed individually, and you can use them in different manners. You can configure each one of these options with an individual option to remove pages or remove a particular page for page removal. Adding a process is simply a matter of selecting the process and clicking on that item. It adds it over in the default properties list. The properties have options, and there is a wizard that can be used to step through and change the properties. Once you've set your properties, you can revisit them later on by clicking on the image processing option. The image processing activities here should be done in a particular order. We do recommend that you put page removal first in the list of image processing options, because why bother despeckling or resizing a document page that will be removed later on. So page removal first, put your OCR at the very last, and any image processing and cleanup in between both of those. That'll work best. When ready, hit the Start Scanning button, and those documents will be pulled in, and we'll see that document listed in the revision pane. You'll notice with the document now imported, we do have a document highlighted. The blue box on the right side for the properties just goes and shows you the title of the document, the template information, and anything relating to that document. Down below, though, we do have a thumbnail view, and this thumbnail view is very handy, especially if we want to break apart or split the document up at certain points. For example, if we wanted to take page 3 and create a new document from page 3, go ahead and click on page 3, right-click, choose Create Document, and the scanning module will allow you to create a new document. But notice it takes the same title, field values, etc. from the original. If you want to combine multiple scans together, you can just click and drag the scan on top of the first document, and they combined back together. If you like what you see, go ahead and hit your Store All button at the very top, or if you want to, you can send individual documents one at a time. Just right-click on each document and click Store. When you do so, the document will be sent to Laserfiche, but the application will stay open. If you're done scanning, hit the X to close out. A couple icons up at the top on the toolbar include the Continue Scanning from Last Page Scan. This allows you to scan more pages into the existing or highlighted document, and also the Rescan a single page option is available here as well. Sometimes your scanner may not have enough page capability in the auto feeder, and your page or document may take more pages to complete, and therefore you can use this button to add more pages. Store All sends the document, scan more pages to the existing document, or go to a particular page, add that to the scanner, and rescan it if it needs to be done again. If it all looks good, go ahead and hit the Store All Documents button and close your app. As you can see, our document is now in the system, available for viewing. A third method of importing documents is the File Import method. Just click on the toolbar icon on the far right for Import, browse for the document, and import the document with the Import dialog box. We'll go ahead and select a sample page here, click Open, click OK. Again, the Import dialog box appears. You can rename the document, choose your folder path, set your template and fields, and click Import. I'm going to cancel out of that one. Laserfiche also provides an Office integration that allows you to integrate your Office products with Laserfiche. If installed, you'll get a Laserfiche tab in your Office applications, whether it be Outlook, Excel, Word, or PowerPoint. Clicking on the Laserfiche tab allows us to do many things. We can save the document if it's a new document, or save documents as versions, and even overwrite an existing document. This Excel document has been saved to the repository, and we've even assigned some metadata to that document as well. Let's take a look at that information. Should come up here shortly. And here's our metadata with the template and field values filled in. If that's the case, we'll go ahead and click OK to hide that. We now have the ability to use the tokens of those fields and insert that information from those fields using Laserfiche tokens in order to insert that information. For example, if I insert my cursor at this cell and choose the document type field, the value from that field that was already assigned will be inserted into the Excel document. This Excel document had been checked out from the repository. At this point, if we're done with it and done editing, we can check it back in. It asks us if we want to overwrite the existing document or save it as a new version. If you do save it as a new version, it may ask you for some comments, which are not required and are optional. Click OK, and that document is now going to be saved as a second version over the original. There was a local copy saved, and you might want to remove that from the local temporary directory. Now that we've imported or scanned documents into the repository, we're going to want to find those documents in some way. Laserfiche provides a quick search box up at the very top or an advanced search. If we type our value into our quick search, we can set some criteria like document text or fields. We can even constrain it to a particular folder and then tell it to go search for any document that has that word or phrase in the fields or text of a document. We can even see that it's using a common search capability within the current folder. And we get a search results screen here. We can expand that a little bit. Our folder and search summary on the left-hand side. Our search results are split with a list at the top and then context hits at the bottom. Some of these documents may have certain numbers of counts. The hit count just means how many times that word or phrase occurs in that document. You can even double-click on the context down in the bottom, for example, this page 2 entry, first one. Go ahead and double-click on it. That will then open the document to that page and show you the information you were looking for. And even highlight the words on the document. Zoom in if you need to. You can close this out and return to your search results in the other tab. If you've found what you're looking for and you're done searching, go ahead and click on the Folders option in the top right corner. Your folder pane will be visible here. Laserfiche also has an advanced search capability. Click on the word advanced there just to the right of the quick search box, and you can custom configure the criteria to be used in your advanced search. The search types are available at the very top here. Click the drop-down and choose from any number of available search types. Some of the more popular ones include name, text, field, and the within folder is already selected here. And notice the within folder and common are not listed. They're already added to the search criteria, so they won't be available in the drop-down list of search types. Pretty handy. That way you know you don't need to add it. It's already been added. If you don't want to use part of that search criteria, just hit the X to remove it. You'll notice that now common is now back into the search types list. If you like what you see, if you configured your search with the appropriate criteria, we should maybe do a name search here. And if we like what these criteria are, you can even save the criteria as a saved search. This is specific to each user, so your saved searches and any other customizations that you've made in the browser will be saved to your login. Go ahead and hit save. It'll then allow you to name the search and assign it to yourself or a group. You will then have a list of available searches later on. I'm going to go ahead and hit reset. Having found the document you are looking for, you might want to print or email that document. Highlighting a document or multiple documents, go ahead and click on the More Actions button on the far right side, and you can choose to print or even generate reports. Go ahead and hit print. You can then choose your printer. Brings up your choice of what to print. You can choose to print image or text. If you then choose the print button, the items actually will be downloaded to your browser's download location, and then you can choose to print them from there. Documents selected for printing will actually download as PDFs, and then you can print from the PDF app. Documents can be emailed. Highlight the document and click the email button on the toolbar. You can then choose to select how many pages you want to email in the page range option, and make sure that email is going to be converted to a PDF. Click send, and that will launch your email client. The message file will download to your browser's download location. You may see a warning. Go ahead and hit the keep the message, and double-clicking on the MSG file will launch your email client, allowing you to address it and type in your text as needed, and then you can go ahead and hit send. We'll go ahead and close that out. For those who are records managers, if you click on the records management option in the bottom left corner, you have some records management pre-built searches allowing you to search within your record series. You can run 3 pre-built reports. Of course, you can build others, but the out-of-the-box reports include eligible for cutoff, eligible for disposition, and vital records review. Selecting one of those and running the search will find anything that the records manager needs to take action on, which thankfully at this point is nothing. Notice down in the quick access pane, we still have our search results screen. So if you wanted to review the search results from your last search, you can view those, or click on the folder pane to go back to your folder. A final topic to discuss in Laserfiche Web Client is the Generate Reports option. Laserfiche allows us to report on various configurations of the repository. This was introduced in 10.1, or actually 10.0 of the web client, and introduced later on in 10.3 in the Windows client. We can generate 4 different types of reports. A metadata report, which would report on the fields and folders visible. You can do entry effective access rights reporting, user effective access rights, and user securities reports. A metadata report is really just a report about the columns visible of the selected folder. So in this case, we do need to actually sign in again. Once signed in, we can choose our report type. We do have a choice of table, list, Excel, and text. Text would be a CSV. Table and list are visible in an HTML format. Excel is usually really good. You can report on subfolders. You can add the columns that you want to select, and for certain pages you can add functions, maybe summing the number of pages if you are totaling up documents, for example, with pages. Some of these functions are really handy, but it depends on the column you're selecting. If you're not using pages, you won't need that. Is the document indexed? Things like that. Add whatever you want from the list of available columns that are Laserfiche columns or metadata field values. Go ahead and click OK, and that report will be downloaded to your browser as an Excel file. We can see down in this browser, the report file is here. Click to open it. As we can see, we have all the same columns that were available and all the named entries as well. Go ahead and close that out. This concludes our training video on Laserfiche Web Client by Cities Digital. Thank you for watching and have a great paperless day.